So I finished The Gravity Between Us by Kristen Zimmer on Friday night. Really, really late. I listened to it on Hoopla Digital, and I don't think I did a review for it. So here it is. This is a female book. I read it for Contemporary-a-thon to fulfill the challenge of reading a LGBTQ plus book. It was a really good book. I really enjoyed it. I'm only going to give that book 3.5, 4 stars because there was some unnecessary drama that was in that book. But the two characters, I think it was Kendall and Peyton, both of them, let's see, Kendall was a up-and-coming movie star / starlet, and Peyton, I think that's her name, but she's a music prodigy and going to school for music and things like that and wanting to write music for movies of that nature. And I really did enjoy it, and I thought it was cute. It had some emotional moments to it. It's coming of age. It was a nice read, or a nice listen. The actors, the voice actors, the narrators were really good. I liked them. And then this morning I finished Enchant by Micalea Smeltzer. Oh, wow. So this is a paranormal book that has to do with enchanters, and it was very different from the things that I have read from Micalea before. I really enjoyed it, and I can't wait for the rest of the books to come out because I need to know what happened. It is a trilogy, I believe, so there is a bit of a cliffhanger at the end, but I need to know more. It sort of jumped around for me, but this is my first real fantasy book that I have read of that nature, I guess you could say. I really haven't read any other fantasy like this, so I was really drawn in by it. It felt like some of the moments were kind of jumping back and forth and felt kind of off, and it kind of dragged along for me just a little bit, but in the end I really enjoyed it and I want to know more. So I'm giving this book 4 stars. It has a gorgeous cover. Oh my gosh, this cover is absolutely amazing. And I really can't wait to get to the rest of them. This is the book review for Savage, The Awakening of Lizzie Danton by L.A. Fiore. And I just finished this book. I was up early this morning finishing this book. This book is absolutely amazing. I don't even know where to begin when talking about this book. It's just great. It starts off, you have these 2 characters that you learn about. One is named Lizzie. She's an artist. She has a very troubled, dark, twisted, just heart-wrenching past that you're just like, why did anyone want to put a kid through all the things that she went through? And then you meet Brocan. It's a Scottish name, and it says in the beginning of the book how to pronounce his name, but in my mind I kept saying Baroque. So that's how his name is said to me in my world. So Baroque is a mysterious man that has a mysterious past, that has a mysterious lifestyle. The people in his town think that he is a monster, and this book is half set in the United States and half set in Scotland. When tragedy hits, someone dies, this sends both of their worlds into a tailspin, and almost like a coming together, a finding of family. It's dark, it's twisted, it's about love and peace, finding peace in your life and finding family, and it is just such a good journey. Oh my god, it's so beautiful. And the things that go along with the fact that it's set in Scotland, it's just makes me even more obsessed with Scotland. I mean, I was obsessed with Scotland because of some other things, but this book definitely makes me even more obsessed. I give it 5 humongous stars. I definitely think you should read it. Oh, and then the cover. The cover is amazing because, yeah, it's mystical. Although it's not paranormal, it's magical, even though it's not a fantasy, and it's about freaking Scotland. Yeah. Definitely go out and check this book out. I said I gave it 5 stars. It's by L.A. Fiore and it's called Savage. Go check that out. The second book I finished today was Forever My Girl by Heidi McLaughlin, and why did it take me so long to read this book? I have no clue. I listened to it on Hoopla Digital as an audiobook, and I am so in love with it. I can't wait for the movie to come out so I can see how this story is brought to life. It just made me smile and it made me feel good. It made me give thanks. I finished it on Thanksgiving. It was great. It was so great. So you have Liam, who is a rock star, and you have Josie, who is the town florist of a small town. Well, back in the day, they were small town high school sweethearts, and some things happen where there is a separation. He goes on his path of becoming a rock star, and she stays in town and becomes the florist. Well, throughout the book, you find how their lives have changed over that time frame, and it is just a wonderful journey. Some things happen, tragedy strikes, which brings Liam back to town, and this book is told with flashbacks and present time. There was, I don't know if maybe it was the fact that I was listening to it instead of reading it, but it was a little confusing at times when it flashed back to when it was in present. You had to wait a couple sentences to figure out, oh, this is the flashback, or oh, this is present time, this is what's going on right now. It was so seamless that it took me a couple sentences to realize that this was a flashback or this was the present. So I can't fault it for that, because it was such a touching story about, you know, secrets being revealed and finding that lost love that you knew you had, but then again may not have had. It was just fabulous. I loved it. I give this book 5 humongous stars. I loved the 2-person narrative that they had, as well as the 2 narrators. Their voices just meshed well together. I think the male narrator definitely bring Liam to life, and the female narrator bring Josie to life. It was great. I loved it, and I can't wait for the movie. It was a sweet journey of lost love, and like I said, I can't wait for the movie to come out so I can see it brought to the big screen.
Alrighty, super late at night, but I just finished The Roommate Disagreement by Leddy Harper. Loved it, loved it, loved it. It had funny, it had romance, it had suspense and thriller, and I just absolutely adored this book. Leddy didn't fail with her normal torture me, make me cry, make me feel, make me just be in the moment, be in the characters. In the book, you have a mysterious man named Cash who is feeling lonely, so he puts out an ad for a roommate, and Jade is the one that answers. She has a 2-year-old who you know about by reading the book, but you know he doesn't know about, and they navigate through an agreement to be roommates. Their journey is a little bit dark, but at the same time lots of fun and really rips at your heart. So go check that out. That's The Roommate Disagreement, Leddy Harper, and I give this book 5 stars.
So I finished Defenseless by Corinne Michaels on audiobook through Hoopla, and 5 stars. Loved it. So will miss the Salvation Boys. This story follows Mark and Charlie, and if you have read any of the other Salvation series books, you know who Mark and Charlie are. But this book can actually be read as a standalone, and although I think it's better if you read the other books first, because you get so much backstory, even though you don't necessarily need it for this book. And there's so much action in this book. Oh my gosh, so much action. So Mark is a retired Navy SEAL, and he works for a security company. Well, they had some issues going on, and there is a mystery that needs to be solved. Charlie is this mysterious woman that has helped out, and she has a pretty badass job herself. And the 2 of them have this very sweet, funny, adventurous, crazy, sarcastic, humored journey, I guess you could say, and adventure that they go on, and it's just amazing. I absolutely loved it. I was holding off on reading this book because I didn't want to let these guys go. I wanted to savor them, but it came up on my
digital library to be able to listen to it, and I just had to take the chance at it. So I did, and I loved it. I loved both of the narrators. I loved the female part of it, and I loved the male part of it. Both of them gave attitude and the sass that was needed for these two characters and everything that went along with it. I absolutely loved it. I'm so sad to see the Salvation Boys go, like I said before, but it had to come to an end. So now I am caught up with reading every single Corinne Michael book. Now I have to wait until 2018 for her to release a new book. I am sad, but I love this book. So that is Defenseless by Corinne Michaels. I give it 5 stars. Go check out that series if you love military and action and mystery and drama and craziness. It's all sorts of amazing.
As you have just seen, those are the books that I reviewed in vlog style. There were a couple that I missed out on, and I'm going to bring those to you guys right now and let you know what those were. The first one that I didn't do an actual vlog style review for is Roman Crazy Abroad, number 1, and that is by Alice Cooper and Nina Bocci. And I gave that book 3 stars. I actually listened to it on audiobook. It is a story about a woman that finds out her husband is not very nice. We'll put it that way. I won't ruin what he actually did. But he's not very nice, and she decides to take a trip to see her friend in Italy. It's about her adventures from then on. It started off really funny. It's more mature. It has really good aspects to it, I think. But as I said, I only gave it 3 stars because it sort of went overboard with some of, I guess you could say, the jokes. And maybe I didn't get them, but I sort of lost interest with them further down the road. The next book that I didn't get to review came later on in the month, and those were the last 2 books that I read for the month. But the first book is Nick and Nora's Infinite Playlist by Rachel Cohen and David Levinthon. This book is touted as a YA novel, and I definitely don't think that it was a YA novel read at all. There is a lot of cursing, and if you have no musical background whatsoever, you're gonna be lost in the sauce. I give this book 4 stars because it happens over one night. I didn't like the ending because I just didn't. And if you read it, or if you've read it, then you know what I'm talking about. And I was just left. But I did, for what it was, because I knew so many of the musical acts that were talked about, and I got a lot of those jokes in the book. I really did enjoy it. That's why I'm giving it 4 stars. I listened to it on audiobook, so if you get a chance to do that, I definitely say go check that out. It is in dual perspectives or dual POVs, 2 different narrators doing the talking parts for the book, and I really did enjoy that part of it. Nora was absolutely hilarious. The book makes me want to go back and rewatch the movie to see if the adaptation was as good as I thought it was, because I liked the movie and I thought the movie was funny. I'm pretty sure the characters or the actors that played the characters were very fitting in my eyes. So I want to go back now that I've read the book and compare it again, but didn't get a chance to do that before I did this review. So that's neither here nor there. I enjoyed it. Like I said, I gave it 4 stars, and I definitely think that you should listen to it. But don't be surprised with all the cursing and all the musical references. I think it's more of a mature audience book than it would be a YA book. Then the final book that I got done in November was The Kiss of Deception, and I got this done the last day of November, and I pushed through to make sure that I got this done. It's The Kiss of Deception, the Remnant Chronicles, book number 1 by Mary E. Pearson, and I give this book 4 stars. The reason I give this book 4 stars is because I really had to step back and think about the fact that this was written for the ages of 14 to 17, so it wasn't necessarily written for a mature audience. There is a lot of unnecessary words and descriptions in my book, you know, for my taste. But stepping back to think about that audience, it's a chapter book. So you want your teen, preteen, pre-adult person that's going to read this book to really get into it and really read it. So looking from that aspect of it, I did enjoy the journey, even though it seemed like it took forever. And then the last, I want to say 30% of the book definitely made me want to read the rest of the series. So this is a fantasy series about a princess that decides to run away from her arranged marriage, and then you have a prince that is looking for that princess, and you have an assassin because she ran away, and you get all three of their stories through different voices. I listened to it on audiobook, so it had a full cast of characters. It was not just one person reading for all of the other characters plus the three main characters. Oh, it was great. It was great. It was a full ensemble, and I really enjoyed it. Like I said, the last 30% of it was definitely what grabbed me and was like, okay, we're getting into some meat and some, you know, journey and adventure and things like that. So I really enjoyed that. So go check that out. The breakdown for this month was that I had 8 5-stars, 4 7-stars, 2 3-stars, no 2 stars, and no 1 stars, and I didn't DNF a book. 17 books this month. Amazing. Loved it. That's it. So was there any books that I recommended or you guys want me to elaborate on? Let me know down in the comments. Do you like the vlog style of reviewing a book as soon as I finish it and not doing individual ones that I put on the channel? Let me know down in the comments. As always, if you enjoyed this video, please give me a big thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. Also, there is a feedback form down in the description box, and I started a Goodreads group and a blog that you guys need to go check out because I got smart and now know how to do HTML. So there's going to be more information out there as well on that one. Thank you for watching, and we will see you guys later.